Okay, many foreigners want to come here to Brazil because they see things that lack in their countries. Despite in rich countries you have easy access to material things you can buy, the purchase power is much higher than here in Brazil. Not everything is perfect. Every country has the positive points and the negative points, and we always want to improve. So in this video I will point here what are the things, the 10 things I see that we have in your country and that it lacks in developed countries, okay? Because I'm a native, and as long as I produce content here talking about Brazil and researching about other countries, see what rich country people argue about their countries, I can say that really my country, despite all the bad things we have here, being the main negative points, the purchase power that is low here, and the crime rates, that is another problem. My country has a lot of good points, okay, that maybe is what you are looking for in this point of your life. The first thing I can feel here in Brazil until today, despite this being going lower and lower with the pass of the time, okay, is the happiness in people, okay? Many foreigners that live in rich countries, they argue that people are cold, are distant, they are not truly happy, and whatever. Here in Brazil, I feel until today that people here, despite all the struggles we have here about economic and that I mentioned, people here are happy, are at least happier. Okay, you see that when you walk in the streets, when you go to a place like a restaurant and talk to people, you see people are always smiling, okay? We see this mainly, it's not all places are like this, okay? If you go more to the northeast Brazil, you see more of that. If you go to the south, you see a little bit less than that, okay? But I've been to the north and to the south, the southeast of Brazil, and I see that in general here in Brazil, people tend to be a lot more happy. General people tend to be happy. You feel that people are happy, are smiling, okay? It doesn't mean they are satisfied with their lives, that everything is okay, but at least you feel that people are a lot friendly, okay? Here in Brazil, yes, this is fact. People here are a lot friendly. The number 2 here is the abundance of social interactions, okay? If you want to come to a country really to socialize, Brazil is one of the best places in the world. Okay, I've been from the north to the south, southeast, and really every place you go here, people like to socialize. There is plenty of parties, of groups, of when you go to a shopping center, for example, you see the shopping center is full of people, it's crowded. If you go in the weekends, obviously, okay? If you go to the beach, you see the beach are crowded. Generally, if you go to beaches in big cities like Rio de Janeiro, even my city Fortaleza is the northeast. If you come here to Salvador, Bahia, you see the beach full of people. There are a lot of street parties full of people too, doing all the year, okay? So people here until today, okay, that has been going down with the past of years, but until today people likes a lot of socialize, okay? This is a culture here in all Brazilians that I see in every place I go. And this is good and bad depending of who are talking about. If you are a shy person and you live here in Brazil, well, maybe you have some difficult time because people here value a lot socialization, your communications skills, okay? So communication skills is something in high demand here in Brazil, okay? You have to socialize in the work, you have to socialize in your social circles you go, okay? So this is something that Brazilians value a lot. the socialization. So Brazilians that are shy and that want to live here in Brazil, they are obligated many times to learn how to socialize, okay? Because this is very important here in Brazil. 3, we doesn't have conflict with other countries, okay? Which puts our country in a constant peace environment, okay? We have not been into war since what, a century? Maybe the Second World War was the last conflict, and it was very small here in Brazil. Okay, we doesn't have this worry of going into some conflict like we are seeing all over the world. Okay, we doesn't have enemies in the world, so this is very important. We are not even close from countries that go into conflicts, okay? Because let me say you live like in Poland, in Europe, you are very nearby a country that is in conflict, okay? Okay, here in Brazil we have Brazil that is a very peaceful and friendly country, okay? Doesn't go into conflict with any country, and all the countries nearby here in Latin America are very peaceful too. They doesn't get involved in conflict. So I think this is very important for the long-term thinking. If you want to live here, you have children here, things like this. It's important to know that you will not get bombarded like with a nuclear warfare. Number 4, hot beaches and beautiful beaches. Okay, this is not a privilege for every rich country. You see a lot of rich countries very well developed in Europe mainly that doesn't have beach. If you wanna go to the beach, you have to travel long distance and go to a beach, and many times the beach is not hot, and when the beach is hot, it is just one period in the year, okay? It's not the whole year. It's a lot more difficult to go to the beach, a really hot beach, okay? Because I think to enjoy a beach, the water has to be nice, okay? The weather has to be nice too. I know that in the United States you have a lot of hot beaches, okay? But not all rich and developed countries has this privilege, okay? Canada, for example, is very at the north, is very cold, okay? So here in Brazil, you have hot beaches from north to the south, okay? Obviously, if you go to the south, sometimes you have cold waters, and the southeast, but the most time in the year the water will be hot, okay? It doesn't have like cold waters. You have only in short periods in the year, okay? And in the northeast Brazil you have hot water the whole year. So if you like beaches, okay, if you really love beaches and you want a beach the whole year, go to the northeast where you have a lot of big cities that are beach cities, okay, nice beach, okay. I'm here in Salvador at the moment, traveling in Salvador, Bahia, that is absolutely beautiful, okay. It has a really, really beautiful beach, coast beach, okay. I live in Fortaleza, that is in the northeast too, that has a very nice coast, very crowded of people the whole week, okay. So that's a very nice thing here about Brazil. Number 5, this, if you are a man, you like this point here that Brazil has hot women. Sorry, women. The reality, okay, we had a very privileged like combinations from people all over the world that make a perfect mix in the women, okay. So Brazilian women are well known for being one of the most beautiful women in the world, okay. But don't think they are easy, okay. They are not easier than other women in other parts of the world, okay. They are very friendly here, obviously. They will talk very open to you, they like to touch, but I don't think they are more easy than, let me say, other women in the world. Number 6, Brazil has an extremely cheap cost of life, okay. Many foreigners say that Brazil is not cheap, so cheap that there are cheaper places in the world, okay. But I think Brazil is still very cheap if you compare, if you take number cost of living index and you put Brazil has one of the most cheap costs of living. If you compare all around the world, you see that, and really it's cheap. Okay, it's not, some things here are more expensive than in rich countries. Okay, things like electronics, okay, like car is more expensive here in Brazil. Okay, it's a lot more expensive. Actually, it's approximately 50% more expensive a car here in Brazil. Okay, because of the tax. We have high tax in the import. Okay, so everything that is imported will cost a little bit more. A brand new iPhone in United States is like $1,000. Here in Brazil will cost like $1,500. $500 more expensive, or $1,400. Okay, that's approximately what costs here. If a car in the United States costs like $20,000, here in Brazil it costs like $30,000. Okay, it's approximately 50% more expensive. But when you compare with other things like rent, food, leisure, okay, going out, go to the restaurant, dining out, Uber, things like this, you will be you will see that really here in Brazil the basic things to have, like me say, a good quality of life are very cheap. Obviously for us Brazilians things are not cheap. Okay, many Brazilians struggle to pay the basics bills. Okay, but it's one of the problems here in Brazil that I will don't be very deep in these problems because I talk them in other videos. Okay, but even for me that I am a Brazilian, that I am in the middle class, I make a little bit more than the average Brazilian. Okay, I can see that for me that make money reais, some things are very cheap. I'll give you an example. Here, this apartment here in Salvador, I'm looking to the ocean here. Let me show you here the view of let me show you the view. You saw the view from the balcony here in the apartment. Okay, we can see the sea very next to the beach. Okay, and this apartment here is really nice. Okay, I paid like 500 reais for 3 days here in one of the more expensive neighborhoods in Salvador. Okay, which is approximately $100 for 3 days. Okay, $100 for 3 days. It's very cheap for the foreign. Even for me that I make money in reais, I think it's cheap. Imagine for you that make money in dollars, it's a lot more cheap. Okay, number 7, family. Okay, I see a lot of foreigners arguing that women in the foreign doesn't want to build families, and many men want to build families. Here in Brazil, obviously women here focus a lot in their career. Okay, this is a very peculiar thing here in Brazil because there is an intense debate between women where this conflict between building family and going in their careers. Okay, this is very debate here, but people here in general, women, they are very family oriented. Okay, so Brazilians value a lot families. Okay, obviously this is going down with the pass of the decades. Okay, the families are getting less and less big. Okay, smaller. Okay, the pass of the time, but still today many women want to build family here. Okay, but they don't want to lose their careers. Okay, at the same time. Okay, so women here, I feel they don't like this kind of being provided for by a man. Okay, obviously some women like it, but in general what I see is that women here are very career oriented, and at the same time they are family oriented, and they suffer a lot to make like choices and raise the children or go into the career pursuit. Okay, and there is a lot of conflict about that here in Brazil. But if you want to build a family, Brazilians are very they gather together their families. Okay, the parents, the grandparents, the uncles, everybody gather together. My family until today, is like this. Many times they get together, everybody get together, and family here tries to be more closed and be more close from each other, okay? Not something very distant, okay, like in other countries. Number 8, diversity of climate, okay? This is something important to mention, that here in Brazil we have a diversity of climate. If you want hot climate, okay, you go to the north and the northeast. If you want more cold climate, very cold, you go to extreme south, okay, where you see the Rio Grande do Sul state, where you have the capital Porto Alegre, okay, it's very cold. If you want more so-so, not so cold, not so hot, with all seasons well defined, you go to the southeast, you go to São Paulo, but will not be so cold like Sweden or like Canada, okay? Will never be like that. That will be a more equilibrium in the temperature, okay? But you have cold parts here in Brazil, you have hot areas, okay? It's very different from many north-rich countries. Let me say like Germany, okay? You doesn't have much of choice if you live in a cold or hot place, okay? Number 9, this is something very important for mental health, okay? Many people does not give the proper attention for that. That is the sun. The sun, maybe you don't know, it's something very important to the mental health. Our eyes needs to see the sunlight, the natural sunlight, for the health of the eye and the health of the mind, because we have the vitamin D, okay? The vitamin D is very important for the body health and the mental health too. So many countries that you doesn't see the sun for long periods in the year, maybe your mental health will not be good. Many times you'll be depressed, okay? And here in Brazil it doesn't have this problem, because we see the sun the whole year, okay? Maybe even if you go to cold regions in the south region, you will see the sun the whole year, okay? So I think this is one of the main reasons Brazilians are so happy, because the sun is something very important, okay, for the overall well-being of the human being, okay? So even if you doesn't like a lot of sun, let me say like this, a very hot sun, you can go to the southeast region. It's much more cold, okay, but you see a lot of sun the whole year. And number 10 is something very unique here in Brazil. I think not all countries are like this, okay? Mainly in the United States is the health system, okay? We know that in the United States you have a health system that's not the best health system. You have to pay very expensive to the medical industry, let me say like this. But here in Brazil, we have a public system that is available for free, okay? For everybody, even for foreigners, okay? If you come here in Brazil for travel, let me say, and you need a health system, you can use our health system without paying anything for that, okay? That is SUS, that we call here in Brazil Sistema Único de Saúde, okay? This is the universal health system. But let me warn you, okay? This is not the best system, okay? When you talk about public free health system, it's very difficult to find a really good health system, okay? Here in Brazil is not different, okay? The health system here face a lot of challenges, obviously, but depends a lot where you live, okay? If you go to big capitals, the chances are that you will not find a good public health system there, because it's very crowded. The cities here in Brazil are, there is a lot of concentration of people in the cities, okay? And the countryside many times, because the lack of jobs in the countryside is always better to live, okay? And the health system is a lot better in the countryside. Let me say in the countryside of São Paulo, one of the main states here in Brazil. you'll find very well developed cities with a good quality of life and a good public health system too. Okay, so you have to understand that here in Brazil the problems are not equal in the country. Okay, the problems that people usually talk about, like crime rates, like the bad health system, are usually concentrated in big capitals. Okay, I don't recommend here my videos to the foreign to live in big capitals. So maybe if you are thinking about living here in Brazil, you wanna know more about business here, and in this video I will show you the best business to put here in Brazil. Okay, this video is very nice, so click here and watch until the end, that I think this will open your mind here in Brazil. Okay, so that's it. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye bye.